The great observation deck of the Galactic Council station stretched across 2 kilometers of reinforced crystalline viewing ports, each panel capable of withstanding the blast of a dying star. Today, representatives from 47 different species pressed against those windows. Their various appendages, sensory organs, and breathing apparatus, creating a bizarre tapestry of alien forms united by a single purpose, witnessing what many believed would be the final moments of human civilization. Admiral Zixthara of the Corvanian Empire adjusted her 4 primary eyes to focus on the small blue world spinning lazily below. Her scaled hide rippled with nervous energy, a trait that had kept her species alive through 3 galactic wars. The humans still refuse evacuation protocols, she announced to the assembled delegates, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had seen too many worlds die. The ethereal sage Moonweaver, a being of pure energy barely contained within a shimmering form, pulsed with colors that translated roughly to disbelief. Perhaps their primitive neural networks cannot process the magnitude of threat approaching their planet. The Void Serpent has consumed 17 civilizations in the past millennium. Not one survivor remains to tell of those encounters. Through the observation deck's quantum telescopes, they watched the massive shape approaching Earth's solar system. The entity known across the galaxy as the Void Serpent, though dragon, seemed a more appropriate term for the massive creature that moved through space as easily as swimming through water. Its body stretched longer than most moons, covered in scales that absorbed light itself, making it appear as a moving hole in reality. Where it passed, stars dimmed, and space itself seemed to twist in agony. Captain Thorak of the Keth Mori battle fleet stood rigid, his exoskeleton clicking with barely contained aggression. My armada stands ready to glass the planet if the creature reaches the surface. We cannot allow it to feed and grow stronger. His species had learned harsh lessons about containing cosmic horrors. Sometimes entire worlds had to be sacrificed to save galaxies. The humans have been informed, confirmed Ambassador Silthis, her serpentine form coiled around a hover platform. Their response was unusual. She consulted a datapad with visible confusion. They thanked us for the warning and said they would handle it appropriately. A collective shudder ran through the assembled aliens. The humans' reputation for insane solutions to impossible problems was legendary throughout known space, but this seemed beyond even their capacity for madness. The Void Serpent hadn't simply destroyed previous civilizations, it had erased them from existence so thoroughly that even their quantum signatures disappeared from reality. Dr. Yilneth, the Arcturian science observer, extended multiple tentacle eyes toward the viewing screen. I've been monitoring their global communications. Most fascinating, they appear to be celebrating. Their planetary networks show increased activity in what they call social media, with many expressing excitement about meeting the space dragon. Excitement? Admiral Zixthara's voice cracked with disbelief. They think this is some kind of entertainment? Perhaps, suggested the crystalline entity known as Resonance of Deep Thought. Their minds have simply shattered under the pressure of impending extinction. Many species experience psychological breaks when faced with absolute doom. The Void Serpent drew closer to Earth's solar system, its massive form beginning to eclipse the outer planets. As it moved, space itself groaned under forces that bent physics into new and terrifying shapes. Jupiter's moons scattered like marbles, and Saturn's rings dispersed into glittering chaos. Yet Earth remained calm. On the observation deck, tension reached levels that required atmospheric processors to prevent several species from suffocating in their own stress hormones. The Gossamer Collective, beings of crystallized thought, hummed with anxiety frequencies that made nearby electronics malfunction. Something is wrong, whispered Elder Praxim of the Void Gazers, a species that had spent millennia studying cosmic horrors from safe distances. The serpent should have begun its feeding process by now. When it encountered the Talgorian hegemony, the psychic screaming began 3 system lengths away. Indeed, something was different. The massive creature had slowed its approach, its void-black scales shifting with what almost seemed like curiosity. The cosmic horror that had devoured entire civilizations without pause was now moving with deliberate caution toward the small blue planet. "Are your instruments detecting any unusual energy signatures from Earth?" asked Captain Thorak, his weapon systems trained on both the planet and the approaching monster. Dr. Yilneth's tentacles danced over sensor controls. Negative on defensive systems. No planetary shields. No reality anchors. No quantum disruptors. They appear to be generating some kind of low-frequency transmission, but it's nothing that should affect a being of the Serpent's power level. The transmission was indeed unusual, not the desperate war cries or pleas for mercy that typically preceded a civilization's final moments, but something that defied translation into any known language. It carried emotional resonances that alien linguists struggled to categorize. Warmth, welcome, and strangest of all, affection. As Earth's rotation brought the inhabited continents into view, the observers could see the tiny specks of human settlements. Cities that should have been emptying in panic showed no signs of evacuation. Instead, monitoring equipment detected what appeared to be massive gatherings of humans in open areas, parks, fields, and rooftops, all facing toward space with devices that seemed designed to amplify their strange transmission. "They're singing," announced Dr. Yilneth after several minutes of analysis, her voice filled with the bewilderment of a scientist encountering something that challenged fundamental understanding. "The entire human population appears to be singing to the Void Serpent. Brood. 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 Brood." The assembled aliens exchanged glances that transcended species barriers, the universal expression of beings witnessing something beyond their comprehension. Songs had never been recorded as effective weapons against cosmic horrors. Music therapy was a concept foreign to most galactic civilizations, which preferred more practical approaches to problem-solving like orbital bombardment or reality modification. Admiral Ziexthara activated her personal shields, a precaution against whatever madness might be emanating from the human world. "Perhaps we should increase our distance. If the humans have discovered some unknown method of psychic warfare, we could be at risk." But the Void Serpent continued its approach, now moving with something that resembled gentleness, a concept previously thought impossible for a creature that fed on entire worlds. Its massive head, larger than most space stations, turned toward Earth with what might have been recognition. And then, as the cosmic horror entered Earth's solar system proper, something unprecedented happened. The creature that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia began to slow down even further, its movements becoming almost playful. It performed a graceful spiral around the sun, its void black scales catching and reflecting solar radiation in patterns that created aurora displays visible from the observation deck. "By the ancient codes," whispered Elder Praxim, "it's responding to them. The Void Serpent is actually responding to human communication." The implications sent shockwaves through the observation deck. No species in recorded history had ever successfully communicated with a cosmic horror. These beings existed on levels of reality that normal minds couldn't comprehend, much less interact with on equal terms. As they watched in growing amazement, the Void Serpent settled into a stable orbit around Earth's moon, its massive form coiling like a cat preparing to sleep. But instead of beginning the feeding process that would drain all life from the planet, the creature simply waited. "What are they doing down there?" demanded Captain Thorak, his sensors focused on the largest human population centers. Dr. Yilneth's analysis revealed something that would be discussed in xenobiological conferences for centuries to come. The transmission has changed. They're no longer singing as a group. Individual humans in small clusters are now. I believe the term they use is talking. They're having conversations with the Serpent. And somehow, the first document of humanity's most impossible victory was beginning to write itself, witnessed by beings who had thought they understood the fundamental laws of cosmic survival. But as they watched a species barely capable of interstellar flight treat the universe's deadliest predator like a lonely creature in need of friendship, those laws began to crumble. In the depths of space, something ancient and terrible was learning what it meant to be welcomed instead of feared. And on Earth, the next phase of the most remarkable first contact in galactic history was about to begin. 3 days had passed since the Void Serpent settled into its impossible orbit around Earth's moon, and the observation deck of the Galactic Council station had transformed into something resembling a battlefield command center. Scientists, military leaders, and philosophers from across known space maintained constant vigil, trying to understand how a species that still used chemical rockets for space travel had accomplished what no galactic superpower had ever managed. Admiral Zix Thara paced the length of the viewing platform, her 4 eyes darting between sensor readings and the peaceful scene below. "The energy output is impossible," she muttered for the 100th time. "The Serpent should be drawing power from their star by now. Instead, our readings show it's actually generating energy." Dr. Yilneth's tentacles waved in frustrated confusion as she analyzed the latest data streams. "Not generating, Admiral. Sharing. The creature is somehow feeding energy back into Earth's biosphere. Plant growth has accelerated by 30% globally. Their ocean temperatures have stabilized. It's as if the Void Serpent is healing their planet." The concept was so alien to galactic understanding that several translation matrices had crashed attempting to process it. Cosmic horrors didn't heal worlds, they consumed them. Yet satellite imagery showed Earth literally blooming under the Serpent's presence. Desert regions sprouted green growth overnight, and the planet's atmospheric composition was improving by measurable percentages daily. Captain Thorak's weapon systems remained trained on both Earth and its orbital companion, but his confidence in their effectiveness had eroded completely. How do you kill something that's supposed to be unkillable when it's apparently immortal and benevolent? "Perhaps the question isn't how to kill it," suggested Ambassador Silvis, "but how the humans convinced it to become benevolent in the first place." The answer lay in scenes that the alien observers found increasingly incomprehensible. Across Earth's surface, humans had established what they called communication zones, open areas where groups gathered to maintain contact with their cosmic visitor. But these weren't the desperate pleas or formal diplomatic protocols that aliens expected. Instead, humans approached their conversations with the universe's deadliest predator the same way they might chat with a neighbor. In a park in North America, a group of children had set up blankets for what they called a space picnic. Their parents sat nearby, some reading books, others playing music, all treating the massive cosmic horror coiled around their moon as if it were the most natural thing in the universe. "The young ones show no fear," observed Elder Praxim, whose species had evolved specifically to detect and avoid cosmic threats. "Their survival instincts should be screaming. Instead, they appear to be playing." Indeed, the human children had invented games that involved the Serpent. They would shine flashlights at the sky and giggle with delight when the creature's scales shifted in response, creating light patterns that danced across the moon's surface. What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had an evolutionary advantage they'd never encountered before: the ability to see potential friends in things that looked like monsters. On the observation deck, resonance of deep thought pulsed with crystalline confusion. "I have analyzed 17,000 hours of human communications with the entity. The content is mundane. They discuss their daily activities, their hopes, their concerns about trivial matters. They share stories about their pets, their families, their dreams, and somehow this affects a cosmic horror?" Admiral Zix Thara's voice carried the strain of someone whose entire understanding of reality was being rewritten. "More than effects," corrected Dr. Yilneth. The Serpent responds. "We've detected what can only be described as emotional resonance patterns emanating from the creature. It's not just listening, it's feeling what they feel." The breakthrough moment came on the 4th day, when humanity's approach to interstellar diplomacy shifted from group conversations to individual connection. A transmission originating from Earth's surface caught the attention of every monitoring station in the system. It began with a single human child, a girl approximately 8 years old by human development standards, sitting alone in a garden while her caretakers maintained respectful distance. Unlike the group communications, her words carried a different quality: the pure, unfiltered honesty that only the very young possessed. "I know you're sad," she said, speaking to the sky as naturally as if addressing a playmate. "My mom says, when people are mean to you for a long time, It makes you sad and angry, but we're not mean. We think you're beautiful. The response was immediate and unprecedented. The Void Serpent, creature of living darkness and cosmic terror, began to glow. Not with the harsh radiation that had destroyed civilizations, but with a soft luminescence that reminded observers of bioluminescent creatures from peaceful ocean depths. On the observation deck, emergency protocols activated as sensors detected energy fluctuations that should have preceded planetary destruction. Instead, they registered something that broke every known law of cosmic horror behavior. The entity was purring. The massive creature that had devoured entire star systems was producing harmonious vibrations that resonated through space itself, creating music audible across multiple dimensions. "This is impossible," whispered Captain Thorak, his weapons systems automatically powering down as their targeting computers failed to classify the serpent as a threat. The tactical databases contain no protocols for this scenario, but the child on Earth's surface continued her conversation, unaware that her words were being broadcast to observation stations across the galaxy. "Do you want to be friends? I have lots of friends. But I never had a space friend before. That would be really special. What happened next would be studied by xenobiologists for millennia." The Void Serpent, for the first time in recorded history, attempted to communicate directly, not through the reality-warping psychic broadcasts that had driven entire species insane, but through gentle modulations of its luminescence that formed patterns clearly intended as language. Dr. Yilneth worked frantically to decode the light speech, her tentacles dancing over translation matrices designed for first-contact scenarios. "It's crude," she announced with wonder, "like a child learning to speak. The patterns indicate concepts of loneliness, wandering, searching for belonging." The implications struck the observation deck like a physical blow. The universe's most feared cosmic horror wasn't a malevolent destroyer, it was a lost, lonely creature that had been wandering space for eons, growing increasingly desperate and destructive in its search for connection. Previous civilizations had met it with fear and weapons, confirming its belief that it was truly alone in an hostile universe. But humans, with their inexplicable capacity to see potential friends in the most unlikely places, had offered something revolutionary: unconditional acceptance. The human child below clapped her hands in delight as the serpent's scales created increasingly complex light patterns. "You're trying to talk! That's so cool! I wish I could understand better. But I can tell you're happy now. Are you hungry? We have lots of food. Mom makes really good cookies." Admiral Zixthara found herself laughing, a sound her species reserved for moments of transcendent absurdity. "They're offering to feed a cosmic horror cookies. And it's working," added Elder Praxim, with the voice of someone witnessing miracles. "The entity's aggression patterns have decreased to levels our instruments can barely detect. If these readings are accurate, the Void Serpent is now less dangerous than most planetary fauna." As the day progressed, more humans joined the garden conversation. They brought blankets, food, and musical instruments, treating their cosmic visitor to what they called a welcome party. The serpent's responses grew more sophisticated, its light language developing complexity as it learned to express concepts beyond basic emotions. But the true transformation was yet to come. As evening approached on that hemisphere of Earth, the human child made an announcement that would echo through galactic history. "Tomorrow is my birthday," she told their vast audience of one. "Will you come to my party? It won't be the same without my space friend there." The Void Serpent's response sent shockwaves through the observation station's sensors. For the first time since entering the solar system, the cosmic entity began to move. Not with the predatory grace that had terrified civilizations, but with careful, deliberate precision. It was repositioning itself for a closer approach to Earth. "Emergency protocols," shouted Captain Thorak, but his words lacked conviction. The creature's movements showed none of the aggressive patterns that preceded planetary consumption. Instead, it moved like someone accepting an invitation. On Earth's surface, the child looked up at the shifting stars with pure joy. "You're coming! This is going to be the best birthday ever." As the second document of humanity's impossible victory drew to a close, Beings from across the galaxy prepared to witness something that had never occurred in cosmic history. A birthday party where the guest of honor was the universe's former deadliest predator, and the hostess was a human child who saw monsters as friends waiting to happen. Tomorrow would bring the moment that redefined what was possible in the cosmos, and it would begin with a simple act of trust that only humanity had ever dared to offer. The morning of what would become known throughout the galaxy as the day everything changed began with the Void Serpent doing something that shattered every remaining piece of conventional wisdom about cosmic horrors. It attempted to wrap itself with what appeared to be a bow. The massive entity had spent the night carefully manipulating space dust and ice crystals from Saturn's scattered rings, weaving them into a formation that resembled the decorative ribbons humans placed on gifts. The sight of the universe's former deadliest predator trying to make itself presentable for a child's birthday party sent waves of disbelief through the observation deck that required medical intervention for several species. "The quantum mathematics are impossible," stammered Dr. Yilneth, her tentacles trembling as they worked over calculations that refused to make sense. "It's manipulating matter at the subatomic level to create decorative patterns. The precision required exceeds the capabilities of our most advanced fabrication technology." Admiral Zeex's Thara watched through the quantum telescopes as the serpent carefully adjusted its cosmic bow, making tiny corrections with the same attention to detail that the child below was applying to arranging party decorations in her garden. "It's learned vanity," she whispered. "A cosmic horror has learned to care about its appearance." The birthday preparation had become a planet-wide celebration. Humans who should have been hiding in bunkers were instead hosting viewing parties, sharing telescope time, and broadcasting live commentary of their cosmic visitors' attempts at gift-wrapping itself. Their attitude toward imminent contact with an entity that had erased entire civilizations was identical to their excitement for any beloved friend's visit. Captain Thorak had given up all pretense of maintaining defensive positions. His battle fleet now served as additional observation platforms, their weapon systems completely powered down in favor of enhanced sensors. "My tactical officers are requesting permission to attend the party," he announced with the voice of someone whose reality had been completely reconstructed. "They want to bring gifts for the human child." "Gifts?" Elder Praxim's ancient voice cracked with emotions that didn't translate well across species barriers. "A Kethmori battle fleet wants to attend a birthday party for a human child who befriended a cosmic horror." The truth was even more remarkable than the aliens realized. Word of the unprecedented first contact had spread through unofficial channels across the galaxy, and ships were arriving from dozens of star systems, not invasion fleets or scientific expeditions, but curiosity seekers and gift-bearers who wanted to witness the impossible friendship that was rewriting the rules of cosmic survival. On Earth's surface, the birthday girl sat in her garden, surrounded by decorations that sparkled in the morning sun. She wore a simple dress covered in pictures of stars and planets, chosen specifically because "my space friend will like it." Her parents and neighbors had helped transform the garden into what they called a cosmic birthday party, complete with planet-shaped balloons, and a cake decorated with edible glitter that resembled star fields. But the most remarkable sight was the guest of honor itself. The Void Serpent had positioned itself in Earth's atmosphere, using gravitational manipulation to hover just above the cloud layer. Its massive form coiled gently through the sky like a living aurora, its scales shifting through colors that had no names in any language. The bow of crystallized space matter caught sunlight and fractured it into rainbow patterns that painted the entire hemisphere in celebration. "Good morning, birthday dragon," the child called out, her voice carried by amplification systems that humans had cheerfully provided to their cosmic visitor. "You look so beautiful today. Are you ready for cake?" The serpent's response created atmospheric phenomena that would require new scientific classifications. Its joy manifested as harmonic vibrations that turned Earth's magnetic field into a natural musical instrument, playing melodies that resonated with the emotional frequencies of pure happiness. Birds fell silent to listen. Ocean waves synchronized their rhythm to the cosmic music. Even the planet's rotation seemed to smooth into perfect harmony. On the observation deck, Beings who had witnessed the birth and death of stars found themselves moved to tears by sounds that spoke directly to whatever remained of innocence in their ancient souls. The harmonic patterns are rewriting local space-time, reported Dr. Yilneth, her scientific objectivity finally cracking under the weight of wonder. The serpent isn't just happy, it's transforming happiness into a physical force that's improving everything it touches. Indeed, monitoring stations detected improvements cascading through Earth's entire ecosystem. The cosmic music was healing damaged coral reefs, accelerating the growth of endangered forests, and even repairing genetic damage in species affected by pollution. The universe's former destroyer had become a force of restoration simply through the experience of being loved unconditionally. As the party began in earnest, humans demonstrated their species' unique approach to interstellar diplomacy. They sang "Happy Birthday" in dozens of languages, including several they'd invented specifically for their cosmic friend. They played games that somehow included a being the size of a small moon. They shared stories, jokes, and eventually, cake. The moment that would be replayed in xenobiological conferences for eons came when the child stood up, brushed crumbs from her party dress, and made an announcement that silenced monitoring stations across 3 galaxies. "I want to give my birthday dragon a thank you kiss," she declared with the absolute certainty that only 8-year-olds possessed. "He's been the best friend ever, and friends always get birthday kisses." The assembled aliens watched in paralyzed fascination as the void serpent slowly, carefully lowered its massive head through Earth's atmosphere. The precision required to bring something the size of a space station close to a fragile human child without causing atmospheric disruption or gravitational chaos exceeded the engineering capabilities of most galactic civilizations. But the cosmic horror that had spent eons destroying worlds managed it perfectly, driven by a desire to receive something it had never experienced. Affection freely given. The child's parents stood nearby, radiating the kind of calm trust that made alien observers question everything they thought they knew about risk assessment. Other humans gathered in respectful silence, phones and cameras raised to document the moment when their species officially became the first to achieve peaceful contact with a cosmic-level entity. The serpent's head, easily larger than most buildings, came to rest just above the garden. Its scales, which had once absorbed the light of dying stars, now gleamed with reflected sunshine and birthday cake glitter. Ancient eyes that had witnessed the birth of galaxies focused on a small human child with gentle attention. "Hello, beautiful dragon," whispered the birthday girl, reaching up to touch what cosmic physicists had calculated should be untouchable. "Thank you for making my birthday magical." What happened next froze every observer in the solar system with awe so profound that several species would later declare it a religious experience. The child, standing on her tiptoes with arms stretched high, placed a gentle kiss on the massive creature's snout. The response rewrote the fundamental laws of cosmic horror interaction. Light exploded from the point of contact, not the destructive radiation that had obliterated civilizations, but pure luminescence that carried the essence of every positive emotion that had ever existed. The light spread outward in waves that painted the entire solar system in colors that had no names, reached the observation station in seconds, and continued expanding toward distant stars. Within that light, every conscious being experienced the same revelation. Love was not a weakness to be exploited by cosmic predators, but the most powerful force in the universe. The void serpent hadn't been defeated or tamed, it had been healed by the simple recognition that it was worthy of affection. Admiral Zeexthara felt tears streaming down her scaled face as the light passed through her. For the first time in her military career, she understood peace not as the absence of conflict, but as the presence of unconditional acceptance. Captain Thorak's exoskeleton stopped clicking as aggression patterns that had defined his species for millennia simply disappeared. His first thought was a desire to protect rather than destroy. Dr. Yilneth's tentacles stopped their constant motion, finally still with the peace of someone who had found the answer to questions she hadn't known she was asking. On Earth's surface, the child giggled as the massive dragon nuzzled her gently, its cosmic purring creating aurora displays that would be visible from space for decades to come. "I love you too, birthday dragon," she said simply. "Will you stay and be Earth's friend forever?" The serpent's response came not in light or sound, but in a transformation that changed the fundamental nature of Earth's solar system. The creature that had wandered space for eons in loneliness settled into a permanent orbit that would make Earth the safest place in the galaxy. Its presence would prevent cosmic disasters, deflect dangerous asteroids, and serve as a beacon of hope for other lost entities wandering the void. But more than that, it became humanity's first ambassador to the cosmos. Living proof that their species possessed something more valuable than advanced technology or military might, the ability to see the best in others and love them into becoming their truest selves. As the celebration continued into Earth's evening, with humans and their cosmic friends sharing stories under starlight, the observation deck of the Galactic Council Station buzzed with activity. Emergency sessions were being called, first contact protocols were being rewritten, and diplomatic missions were being planned to this small blue world that had solved cosmic horror through birthday cake and unconditional love. The universe would never be the same again. And it all began with a human child who saw a monster and decided to offer it a kiss instead of a weapon. In the years that would follow, Earth would become known throughout the galaxy as the healing world, the place where broken beings could find acceptance, and cosmic horrors could learn to become cosmic friends. The Void Serpent, now lovingly called Earth's guardian by billions of humans, would help facilitate peaceful contact with other wandering entities, teaching them what it had learned from an 8-year-old girl's birthday party. But none of that was as important as the simple truth that echoed through space on that remarkable day. Sometimes the most powerful response to darkness isn't light, but love. And humans, with their impossible capacity to see friends where others saw only monsters, had just taught the universe its most important lesson. The deadliest dragon in the cosmos had received its first kiss, and both Earth and the galaxy were transformed forever.